Okay, that's not too distracting, is it? Hi, my name is Sunny, and today I'm going to be showing you the books that I read in the month of September. So the first book I finished was So Much I Want to Tell You by Anna Akana. And Anna Akana is like definitely one of my favorite YouTubers because like she's a badass Asian American woman. This book is dedicated to her sister who committed suicide. It's basically about Anna's life, life and her advice and what she would tell her sister if she was alive now. The next book that I read was, actually I don't know if I'm doing this in chronological order, let me check my Goodreads. I read Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. I don't have the book with me right now and I don't have the capabilities to be like, here you go, so I will insert a clip of what the title looks like. I'm sure you've heard of Eliza and Her Monsters by now because it's awesome and I think it's getting pretty popular on BookTube, or has been. Basically about a high school senior girl who draws a webcomic that's like incredibly famous, like millions of followers famous. And she meets this boy who is the most famous fanfiction writer for her fandom. And she knows that he's a fanfiction writer for her fandom, but he doesn't know that she's draws these comics. So it's actually such a good book. Typically, a lot of YA contemporaries are kind of just like, why? Especially when it's like a straight white relationship, which it is, but like, I don't know, this one was, it delivered to me what Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell couldn't, basically. I think A Clockwork Reader said that about the book and I totally agree. The main character, Eliza, she has anxiety and you can like see the symptoms throughout the story and like, relatable. Next book that I read, I believe is this duology by Gene Luen Yang. So this is the dude who wrote American Born Chinese, which is another, by the way, this is a graphic novel if you couldn't tell. I didn't actually read this book, Boxers. I read the sequel of it. Like, it's a duology, so I don't know if it's necessarily a sequel, it's just the corresponding pair to this. I think it's called Saints, yes. And it basically, Saints, which is on the back here, if you can see, Saints is about a girl in China in the 1800s with the European missionaries coming into China and also opium, the whole deal with that. There's a plot line about that. While the story and the premise was really interesting, I feel like maybe I'm missing something because I didn't read like this book, the first book I should have read first, but I don't know, I think the main character was kind of annoying and the art style wasn't necessarily my favorite, but okay, the next book I read, I also don't have on me because I can't be out here buying books all the goddamn time, like. So the next book that I read was A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, and once again I can't be like, here it is, and drop a image of it on the screen because once again, lack of technological capabilities, but here's a clip of it. If you haven't heard of this book by now, where have you been? The Gentleman's Guide is like, it's such a great read. I was not disappointed. I heard so many good reviews, so many good things, and I was like, yeah, hell yeah, sounds like such a like amazing mix of like queer representation, historical fiction, adventure, like a badass female character, like yes. And it delivered in all of those areas. I think I give it a 4-star rating on Goodreads. I kind of felt like Percy's character he just seemed like he was there for the only distinction, like the only characteristic his character had was that he was half black. And like obviously Felicity was a well-developed character who I thoroughly enjoy, like a very Hermione Granger-esque sort. And Monty, of course, was fabulous. Like, he was so funny. I loved him. I also hated him because entitled white male attitude. Anyway, I was kind of just like, all the other characters, well, not all the other main characters are so well-rounded. Why do I feel like Percy is missing this? Next book that I read was this poetry collection by Franny Choi, called Floating Brilliant Gone. It's a 2011 like pamphlet booklet that was published by Write Bloody. Franny Choi is an amazing slam poet. If you look up her name on Button Poetry, you'll see like a bunch of results, and all of them are amazing. I recommend you watch them all. But she's another like lady on my list of badass Asian chicks I want to be like, because she's so just intelligent and creative, and like, of course she's beautiful, but there were quite a few poems in here that I was like, yo, that would make for such a good interp piece. Like, for those of you who don't know, interpretation and speech and debate, yeah, I definitely filmed myself reading one or two of the poems in this collection, not gonna lie. The final book that I read this month was When the Moon Was Ours by Anna Marie McLemore. This book was pretty good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Dang, I just realized like half of the books that I read this month are Clockwork Reader's recommendations. Wow, what can I say? Her reviews are just very compelling. When the Moon Was Ours is the story of a trans-Pakistani boy who hangs moons up in this little town, all across the town, in the trees, and a girl named Miel who has roses grow out of her wrists. The boy's name is Sam, which is short for like a Pakistani name that I'm not remembering right now. I'm sorry, but I think it means moon in the language, and Miel obviously means honey, and it's like, that's so cute, moon and honey. And it's a magical realism genre, magical realism romance, I would say. And it's the prose is very lush and very magical, but and there was a lot of metaphors and symbolism. It felt like an extended short story to me, if that makes sense. There was a plot, but that wasn't the reason, that wasn't the purpose of the book. It was very much of like a self-discovery and identity and family and sexuality and rumors and like how the small town dynamic. It was very much about that, and I liked it. But although the reason why I think I gave 3 out of 5 stars was because I kind of got like, not bored, but I kind of just got restless from all the like just the pure lushness of the prose, because it was so descriptive and just dripping that I felt like, oh, I need to just go, you know. The book that I'm currently reading that I'm like procrastinating reading because I'm just really angry. Like, I'm 5 pages in and I'm mad, but let me go get it, hold on. The book Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I'm literally this far in, if you can see my bookmark right there. And I read V.E. Schwab's A Darker Shade of Magic over the summer, and I have the sequel sitting right there on my shelf. But I was kind of feeling something more vicious. I decided that I was gonna pick that up and start reading it, and I was like a chapter in, and then I realized that there's apparently like an introduced love triangle. If you read the book, I don't, just let me know if it's consistent, because if it becomes a major plot point in the book, I swear to God. I'm also not interested in another like girl, hot guy, jealous dude, love triangle. Like, that just makes me think of Twilight too much. If you read this book and you know what I'm talking about, please let me know down in the comments to see if I should continue reading it, because I feel like everyone loves it, so I really should, but at the same time I'm like, I don't even know if it's even my kind of story, but we'll see. We'll see if I get the motivation to pick it up again. But yeah, so that was all of the books that I read this month. And I read 6 books in 1 month. Crazy. And like, maybe that's not that much to you, but the thing is, like, I'm a sophomore in high school who does like too much shit on top of school. And so just the fact that I can read like more than 2 books in a month is just like, but yeah, see ya.